and welcome to another screencast in this Ancient World class. Today what we are going to talk about is the beginning of the next chapter here, and chapter 8 in your textbook deals with the world of Islam. So for the next couple of weeks here we will be dealing with the world of Islam and how it was formed, how it was shaped, and how it developed over time. So as we always do in the beginning of a chapter, we start by taking a look at the geography. And most of the developments in regards to Islam took place, at least in the beginning, on the Arabian Peninsula. So I have a map here of the Arabian Peninsula. This is, of course, a modern map, but it at least gives you an idea of where the Arabian Peninsula is located. So this right here is the Arabian Peninsula, and as you can see, we got Asia over here to the right, we got Europe over here to the left, and we got Africa down here in the corner. So this was a civilization that was located right in the middle of many different societies. So we've seen this many times throughout this class. Anything that's located in the middle of a number of different environments and a number of different cultures is going to be influenced by all of these. So the Arabian Peninsula and the people living on the Arabian Peninsula will receive some influences from Europe, they'll receive some influences from Asia, and they will receive some influences from Africa as well. The other thing that you might know about the Arabian Peninsula is that it's a very, very harsh climate, and the geography is very, very harsh. As you can see on this map here, a lot of this area right here and a lot of this area right here is desert. So a lot of this territory is desert. And as I'm sure you can figure out, this made it very, very difficult for people to make a living. So people really struggle to farm because there's very little farmland. So instead, they maintain for a very long period of time a nomadic lifestyle. So these people living on this peninsula stayed nomadic for much longer than in other parts of the world. Again, just because the territory is so difficult to use for farming. So these people were nomadic. Sometimes they would settle in certain spots called oases. And I'm sure you know this already, but I'm going to point it out anyway. An oasis is simply a place where there's water existing. So this is a place where we can find water. And often these oases are not very big, but they're big enough to where people could farm a little bit, they could settle down, they could form a community around these oases. There are not that many of them, but they do exist throughout this peninsula, and that led to a few establishments of permanent settlement, but other than that, most people were nomadic. So the people that lived there were called, in the early times, Bedouins. They were called Bedouins, and they basically made a living by herding animals. And at times they tried to participate in trade as much as they could. Because again, the Arabian Peninsula, with its location, going back to this map here, as kind of a central point in between all these continents, was a good location for trade because of the fact that goods that came from Asia had to pass through here, goods that came from Africa had to pass through here, and goods that came from Europe had to pass through here as well. So as you can see on this other map that I have here, we have a number of different trade routes that go in this area. This is the Byzantine Empire over here. and this is what's called the Sassanid Empire, which is the Persian Empire over here, and we got the African territory right here. So as you can see, there's a lot of people crossing the Arabian Peninsula, not staying, but crossing the Arabian Peninsula with their goods. As you can see over here, we have spices, incense, perfumes, precious metals, ivory, and silk. So these are some of the things that were passing through this area. So the Bedouins did use their location here to participate in trade and make money from this. But again, most of it was most of their living came from herding animals. So these Bedouins were organized into clans, and a clan is basically a large family group. And since this was a harsh society, difficult to make a living, it should come as no surprise to you that these clans were very tightly organized, and loyalty to the clan was everything. And this is basically because on your own, it was really, really difficult to survive. So you needed people to help you, and you needed your clan to help you in order for you to make a good living. And since this is a chapter that deals to a great extent with the faith of Islam, we also need to spend a minute or two looking at the early religious beliefs of these Bedouins. Most of them were polytheistic. So they did not believe in one God, instead they believed in many gods. And they did have a holy city. This holy city was called Mecca. And as you might be familiar with, if you've taken world religion, or if you know a little bit about Islam, Mecca is the holy city of Islam today as well. So that has kind of carried over from the earlier beliefs here. So this is just a little bit of background to what society looked like during the early times of the Arabian Peninsula. So tomorrow in class we're going to pick up and we're going to move forward with a discussion of the founder of Islam, a man by the name of Muhammad. But that is going to have to wait for tomorrow. But the one last thing that I want you to do here is to think about a question and to try to answer a question. You can just type down an answer, just have to be a couple of sentences. And that is, what kind of obstacles will Muhammad will Muhammad face as he's trying to establish a faith in this geographical environment? So what type of obstacles will Muhammad face as he's trying to establish a religious faith in this harsh geographical environment? And there's really no right or wrong answer here. Just try to think of some things that he would be facing, some of the problems that he might encounter as he's trying to establish this faith. As always, if there's something that you're confused about, if there's something that you did not understand about this little screencast, do let me know and write down that question, and I'll be more than happy to answer that in class tomorrow.